John Lennon was gliding by on a luxury, all-white yacht that was filled to the brim with adoring fans and climbed directly onto the captain's bridge. Widlowski wasn't in the least surprised that John Lennon wore an entirely white ensemble. Widlowski glanced at Beata, his hand slipping into Beata's as they looked down over the railing of the bridge. The music filled the air as if his phone had been amplified for them to hear, even over the roaring din of the imaginary crowd.
I will not take up your time, dear boys, with telling you what is the matter with me. Life is brief, and you might pass away before I had finished.
It was as if the apparition glowed, and the yacht was joined by a riverboat, the same kind that once traveled up and down the Mississippi, bearing Ringo Starr.
For myself, I like the smell of cheese, and the journey the other day with them from Liverpool I shall ever look back upon as a happy ending. The lady under whose roof I was residing has an objection to be put upon. The presence of these cheeses she would regard as a put upon, and it shall never be said that I put upon the lady.
Beata smiled, and for the third time, that faint glow appeared, bringing to life another boat which looked more like an Indian bus, or even an Indian temple rather than a boat. Ornamented in multicolored Krishna, Shiva, and other deity sculptures, animals and birds, flowers, and enigmatic signs, it floated slightly above the water and exhumed exotic sounds and smells that seemed to almost join in on the music. It emboldened him as he changed course, and George Harrison's voice, or who else if not George's quote from the book, flowed next.
The overstrain upon our brains has produced a general depression throughout the system. Absence of the necessity for thought will restore the mental equilibrium.
It glowed, and Widlowski knew that it would be for the last time. Looking like a simple fisherman's boat from afar, yet on a closer look shaped like a huge cruise ship, a centerpiece of which was an enormous stadium-sized concert hall with gigantic stage decorations, also having a symphony hall, music studio, horse and sheep farm, and an arts quarters, now drifted along the river, as Paul McCartney's voice came to life.
Now you get a bit of paper and write down, Jay. And you get the grocery catalogue, George. And somebody give me a bit of pencil, and then I'll make out a list.
Were it the strong Liverpudlian accents, or the quite disconnected dialogue with the weird humor? Or was it the sense of a terribly overdone theatrical rehearsal? But soon Beata could almost see in the dark the slight flashing of several rings on a hand, 2 sparks of light on the round glasses, an unmistakable violin shape of the Hofner bass guitar, and a ukulele held by a familiar long-haired and bearded silhouette. The boat sailed on, the music fading into silence, and for 100th time in Widlowski's mind they disappeared around the bend of the river, unmistakably once again leaving him with a sharp feeling of loneliness. For the first time, Beata looked at Widlowski with kind interest.
The Beatles' boats moored near a 2-sided maze on the right bank. Its walls made of glass and mirrors. One side is here, and another one is hereafter.
Widlowski smiled as he watched himself flow across the river, his hand outstretched, drawing Beata through the air towards him. They hovered together over the river, and Beata smiled as she let him pull her into his arms and hold her close. He felt the warmth of the river as it spread up in ribbons, spiraling around them towards the sky, bringing them with it. Down below they saw the 4 Beatles boats moored at the right bank of the river. Here, there, and everywhere filled the air, flowing from the Beatles as they rehearsed the song in a 2-sided maze of mirrors and glass at the riverbank. One side was here and now, and another one was hereafter and forever, but the music transcended the divide.